please let me welcome you all too on this World Obesity Day. I'm Steve Simpson. I'm the Academic Director of the Charles Perkins Centre here. You're sitting in it. It's now, the building has been open nearly 6 years, and it's a place, the only place in the world where you can find everybody from philosophers and playwrights through to metabolic scientists, clinicians, and the general public, along with mathematicians and engineers and economists and all manner of people who are required to come together to share their knowledge and to innovate around the complex problem which is the obesity epidemic. So welcome to the centre. I'm charged with saying a few words about biology. And I think as we heard from Lynn, how our bodies work is a fundamental component of the obesity challenge. And the reason is that virtually all of us here are predisposed to become overweight and to develop obesity. It's in the nature of the human condition. And the roots for this lie extremely deep in our biology. They reflect our ancestry, where we evolved living in environments in which sources of easy calories were rare, were seasonal, and were occasional. And where, as a result of that, things like sweetness and fat were extremely highly prized. To the extent that no matter where you go around the world, you'll find indigenous peoples putting their lives at risk, for example, to secure honey, climbing huge trees, cliffs, or whatever. Selecting specifically the fatty organs of hunted game, or crushing the nuts of trees to extract their oils, where evolved in a way that really prizes these sources of calories. Finding food was also energetically expensive and often dangerous. This is part of our biology as well. It's part of the design of the human organism. And because of this uncertainty in calorie supply, we've evolved clever mechanisms to acquire and store calories when they're available, and to spend them very thriftily when we experience periods of shortage. We have a starvation response, which means that if you experience a calorie shortage, you'll hold on to your calories really tightly. You'll reduce your metabolic rate, you'll spend them really thriftily. We also have a fundamental biology which maintains our intake of some of the key essential nutrients like protein. Your bodies won't let you eat too little or allow you specifically to eat too much of it. And all of these things became embedded in our genes. They're reflected in our genetic makeup, and that in turn becomes reflected in our development and in our lives as living organisms. So we even encoded in our genes specific ways of predicting the future. So epigenetic marks that allow the genes that you possess to be switched on or off according to your experience, even before your own living experience and the lives of your parents pre-conception. That can influence the ways in which genes are switched on in the embryo of a developing child, such that it enters the world predisposed to take advantage of a world in a way that it's predicted, or its mother has predicted, will be, for example, a world of food shortage. So all of this, biology made perfect sense, but what we've also been able to do is to build a world which has subverted in every single essence that biology. So we've built a world where our food supply now contains in abundance those things that used to be ancestrally rare. Sugar and fat are everywhere. They come combined in a mixture which evokes the maximum pleasure response. They're really very difficult to resist. They're everywhere, they're here all the time. Fibre and micronutrients have been reduced in the industrialisation of the food supply. So the original brakes on our appetite from fullness through to the presence of bulk in the diet has been reduced, such that we're delivering calorie bombs to our system before our system even realises that we've eaten enough. This is all our biology interacting with our new environment, an environment that we had built. We've diluted protein in the food supply by adding extraneous, highly caloric fats and carbohydrates. We've even changed the CO2 levels in the atmosphere, which has changed the biology of plants through standard photosynthetic biochemistry, such that we've now got more sugar and less fibre and more simple starches and less proportionately protein and micronutrients in our staple food crops. That sounds extraordinary, but it's true. We built our cities, our homes and our workplaces such that they're safe and require much less energy expenditure than we've ever had to expend in our evolutionary ancestry. And of course, we have economic systems that value wealth over health, that sell us things that we want to buy, even if we want to buy things that aren't necessarily good for us, because again, our biology has been subverted in the modern environment. So we've trapped ourselves. We've provided a cycle of onward weight gain, which is never countermanded by an environment of shortage, as it was in our ancestry. We're surrounded by abundant food. We're in environments where we're trapped in physically inactive lifestyles. And as we enter that slippery slope, the biology is going to push us further and further along that slippery slope and keep us there and make it harder and harder for us to go backwards without help, whether that be through healthy environments, whether it be through early stage prevention, whether it requires intervention, or ultimately, as Lynn was saying, medical intervention. These things become more and more necessary as our biology drives us further and further along that increasing BMI slope. So it's not about something as simple as lack of willpower, laziness, failure to exert our own agency. It's our biology interacting with the world that we've built, which has led us to many good things, but this is one of the fundamentally unpleasant side effects. And together we need to understand that biology to change the environment with which it interacts, and it's only there that we will find solutions to the obesity epidemic. So, happy World Obesity Day. Thank you to Lynn. Enjoy your biology. It's there to guide you appropriately if we get the environment right. So on that,
We have the mics.
Sorry.
Do you want to stand behind her?